Welcome to another episode of the Convention Creatives podcast. Obviously, you have myself, Jay, and PB as always, the wonderful PB and Jay. But we are not alone today. We have two very wonderful, gorgeous, amazing guests with us today. We have the fantastic Frootbat Cosplay and Stroberry Cosplay. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Our pleasure.
Obviously, if you couldn't tell, people watching, for those just listening, they're not just here keeping us company. For those of you listening at home, I really recommend you jump on YouTube or Spotify video to admire the wonderful cosplay and effort that has gone into just for this interview.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Yeah.
And the main reason, it's one of the leading things we want to talk about. Is what this interview is all around.
Yes.
The concept of these cosplays, isn't that right, PB?
Yes, our dear friends today are both cosplaying two designs that I did for my first SonicCon last year. We, as artists attending SonicCon, we were required to at least have two pieces in our portfolio that were Sonic related. I had never drawn anything on my own that was Sonic related, so I decided to do Fireman Shadow and Police Officer Rouge, mostly as a joke for Jake. Because I know that Jake, the host of SonicCon, has a soft spot for Rouge, and I was like, I'll do something spicy and see how well it goes down. And a year later, I got to meet them in person in form of cosplay. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. It was so funny. I remember it was my first Sonic convention of any kind. And I would say that I like Sonic as much as the next gal last year. And then I attended as Rouge, and it was like, oh, this has awakened something maybe in me. You can tell. And we came over to your booth because I remember Drew or Jordan, one of our friends, was talking about the Shadow cosplay one, and I was like, oh my god, the Rouge, I have to get the Rouge one, and it's taken over my life.
I think we probably pointed like, look at it for about 5 minutes. Yeah.
That's brilliant. So does that mean that before SonicCon last year, you weren't so, how can I say, devout to Rouge?
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, oh, I knew who that was, kind of, a little bit,
Yeah.
and I knew what games it was from, but my personal experience mainly of Sonic was more with the retro games, which she's not in. So I was like, oh, the most like me character that exists, I'll do Rouge. And then it was like, oh, this is my entire personality now.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm kind of the opposite in that regard, actually. Like, Sonic was a big staple of my childhood.
Okay.
I remember at playtime in school, we used to play Sonic, and I was Knuckles. So it's sort of been like a big part of my life for a long time. So yeah, cosplaying Shadow was just really affirming for me, and it's really nice to do it with Elsie as
Very
well.
nice.
Yeah.
In fact, on our social media recently, I posted a photo of us two together where you were cosplaying Knuckles this summer at MegaCon Manchester. It's quite nice.
And I believe it was MegaCon Birmingham 2022, was it?
Okay.
Then I cosplayed Knuckles for the first time. So I've had that character for a while.
I think so, yes. I think so. Exciting. So shall we submerge ourselves into this interview properly?
Because I'm curious, because we obviously have a long time Sonic fan, and we have someone who is more recent into the fandom and has really gone in for it, judging from what I can see in the background. It's so cool.
There are parallels of us.
Really? Yes.
Because
yes.
Jay is the longtime Sonic fan, as you may or may not know. If he hasn't told you already, you know now. And I knew that Sonic existed. I had never played any games. My only involvement with Sonic prior to SonicCon last year was in, I want to say, 2007. An artist from Spain reached out to me and asked me if I did artist collabs. And I said I didn't know what that was because I was just starting out. And she said, I have this sketch. Can you do the outline and fill it in? And I'm like, oh, cool. I'll do that. And it was Fireman Shadow. Yeah. And that is how that is how I learned what Shadow was, because I'm like, isn't he blue? And she's like, nah. So I knew nothing about the universe beside the names of some of the characters, and I went into SonicCon fairly blind. And since SonicCon, it has taken over my life.
Yeah, that was really quite impressive to watch from an outside eye as well, because it was like you two met at SonicCon 2024, and it's just boomed. The Sonic economy boomed between you. Yeah, no pun intended. But...
Quite literally,
but
yes.
If you, like I said, different levels of entry points to the fandom, and then both falling in love with these designs, what was it that made you go from seeing these designs, loving them, to actually wanting to make them into a cosplay? Did one of you have the initial idea first? Was it something you both felt like you wanted to do? How did that come about?
I think when we bought the t-shirts, because we were already cosplaying like original Shadow and like original Rouge that day, we just sort of both had the same wavelength of, wouldn't this be so fun to do as a cosplay?
Yeah, especially because the hard part truly of any Sonic character is the wig. So if you've got those wigs, and you can kind of make anything, not that means anything to Frootbat, seeing as you've made 3 wigs now.
2 Shadow wigs. This is the second. The first is lovely for a photo, but it would be like the size of the frame.
It was huge.
It's on top of my wardrobe. It is giant. So I made this one to be more just it's easy to transport, and B, for performances. I didn't want it to come out of shape too badly.
But yeah, I remember, I think Drew, I think it was you that was like, oh yeah, these are really cool. You know, we could do this. And I was like, yeah, that'd be fun. And then as time went on, and I got more and more obsessed, I was like, oh, I have to do this, actually.
Yeah.
I actually remember buying a couple pieces for this. I didn't end up using. I was just sort of on the lookout for some bits, you know, over time. Just being like, oh, I could use that, And then when we were like knuckling down about we're actually going to SonicCon 2026, because we didn't know that we were going to go until like less than a month before, something like that.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
we were like umming and ahhing all year. We were like, oh, should we go? Oh, we really want to go. But because it was a different location, we were like, oh,
yes.
Logistics. And then I think it was late August, we just turned to each other and was like, we were gonna end up going anyway. I don't know why we've taken this long to come to.
It was part of my birthday present that my partner paid for the ticket and the hotel and the travel. So thank you, Rory.
Yeah, it's also really convenient. Thank you, Rory.
Yay.
But yeah, it's really also convenient. We're born 17 days apart. So it was both of our birthday seasons, so we could make it happen.
Nice.
But yeah, we really love the designs. I love how color blocked both the designs are. I think they're really eye-catching in that way. And what was good about them is you can definitely, it's not unrecognizable, the character. Even out of the, you know, like at SonicCon 2026, walking around like this, people were still stopping me to be like, oh my god, Rouge, this is amazing, I have a photo of you. Nobody was like, and who are you supposed to be? You know, there was none of that.
I'm glad.
Yeah, really well designed as well, Jill. And
I'm glad. Stressed me out.
Just to add to what Elsie was saying, it's just the motifs and the color blocking, as Elsie said, were just really eye-catching. As you say, like the fire on the Fireman Shadow one, I was like, oh, that's really cool. I really appreciate your use of yellow on that. I feel like a lot of time yellow being Sonic's third color Shadow's third color is overlooked, and I really liked that was that was something that you included. And yeah, for the Rouge one, the same way, just the tones, the pinks, how it all went together. Very pleasing
Thank
to know.
you. Oh. I'm loving this. Can we keep going?
And you're great too. We love you too.
Oh, thank you.
Well done, Jay. Well done. Nice to have you here. Go on.
It does sound like the block colors then of the t-shirts helped a lot in terms of going from a like t-shirt design, because again that was your only reference really of this design. You felt like there was lots of them. It's like there was this one design that you're making a cosplay from. You mentioned the wigs as well. I'm curious, like, were there any other challenges or fun things you found along the journey beyond that initial looking at that design?
So with cosplay, it's quite profound that you will delve into things that you don't expect to dive into just to do the background research of how like a costume should be made, how it should look. So I was looking into what do firemen's actually, what is a fireproof fabric? What practically do they have to wear? And I think just in terms of that, you just have to really consider, how is this character going to translate onto a human's body, if it's anthropomorphic or if it's a Gijinka cosplay, I believe the cosplay term is for it. And then you have to figure out, how is that silhouette going to work? How does that silhouette flatter me? What does that silhouette take from a fashion point of view? And then you just go down all these wormholes into into researching how you want to do your own spin on it.
Yeah, and I think that the final one, which we always forget about to last, is, and can you move in it? And can you wear that at a convention for a whole day? I originally intended, because the design for Rouge is very shiny, all the blacks in it, and I would really wanted to go with that. So originally I was looking at shorts made of a much more like patent leather, but I was looking and I was like, if I've got to dance, which I knew that we would have to do, I was like, I need them to not move around too much or get caught or anything, or if they do get caught, I need them to be quite forgiving in that regard. So that's why I ended up going with more of like this sort of effect, like a matte leather. And the boots were a similar thing, where I bought originally these really awesome, really high, thigh-high, shiny, tight black boots, which were really high heels. And I thought they looked so cool. And I'd started the process actually of making the little hearts for the end of them and everything.
Nice.
But last year as well, when we were performing, I made 2 sets of boots. I made a flat pair and a heeled pair for performing. But the closer we got to the date, the more I realized that, like, oh, I'm going to break an ankle if I try and perform in these boots and walk around for a whole day, because I really wanted to get the whole day out of it, and go to the afters and everything. So I ended up using my flat ones, which I have here. I didn't want to wear them.
Nice.
Which was really fun, but the caveat of that being that they didn't come up nearly as high. So my thigh-high holster things that I've made,
oh wow,
they didn't want to stay up because they're not as high up on my legs. So we had to the whole day keep like yanking them up and pinning them on and stuff. So that was definitely a challenge, which if given slightly just a smidge more time, I might have road tested that a little bit.
Next time we will tell them to move the convention by a couple of days. I think worth it.
I think they should start an hour later. Yeah,
exactly. We know the people. We can get it done.
But yeah, other than that,
I can feel Kay hitting me at the back of the head.
Yeah, I remember us leading up to it, poor David and Jake being like, have you got your stuff? And we were like, we're nearly there. Just give us a little bit longer. I'm sorry. Kisses. Yeah, I think the only other things I really challenged with the hat. So I originally got this hat, which was it's a human head size black hat, which is in the style of, and it had originally some of these details on. But when I held it up to the wig, because the wig accentuates my head size, it looked silly. Looked a bit like small for the design. So I ended up, I had a carnival hat that looked like this, but it was literally a New Orleans hat, had this fabric all over it. It was very intense.
Okay.
This was gold. It had stuff all over it. So I completely deconstructed it, and I had some red vinyl. So I used all of these pieces, like pattern pieces, to cut new vinyl, which I then sewed together, painted the whole thing black to unify it, and attached some of the trim from that original hat. And then I had to cut it across here and here to fit it to the wig.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and then I sewed it
Wow.
today and on the morning of to the wig itself, and it didn't move the whole convention. So I think
it was a good job.
Well, wow. I didn't even think about that. Like the hat is obviously going through the wig, through the ears. How is that happening? Impressive.
Yeah.
Impressive.
But other than that, for me, I think that was everything.
The sort of practicality that you have to consider with performing in costumes. Basically, the biggest one for me is it breathable? Can you move in it? Which is why elastic is my best friend. I reinforced the elastic of these trousers. These are my original trousers that I wore. I really reinforced that so they come in. And because these are sort of like a waterproofy fabric, I really took in the shading that was on the original design. So I wanted to have that sort of play with the lights. I just had to be quite careful when we were sewing the stripes on as well, just so it didn't puncture it too much. So I'd use like a needle that wasn't going to rough it up too much. So yeah, that was another sort of consideration I just had to do in terms of making sure I could be, as respectful and as close to the design when making it too.
Yeah.
I'm so flattered.
So good. And
I'm
so glad you both sort of expressed the methods into these things and the thought process. And like, I'm thinking of like the hat, for example. Like, I think so many people who, myself included, who aren't in the cosplay world, will just look at and be like, oh, put a hat on, put it at an angle, but like actually know the attention to detail, the work, the putting it together to make it authentic and evoke that design is actually so good and so detailed. So I think people don't give enough cosplayers the credit they deserve.
And there's people who do really crazy stuff, like insane. It's like seeing some of the stuff you see at craftsmanship competitions in cosplay, it astounds me because I'm like, the amount of time this must have taken you to get this together for it to do what it's doing. It's crazy.
Yeah, so like the amount of effort that goes into these things, and beyond like the hat and the trousers and stuff, are there any other specific details that you wanted to translate from the design that you made sure went from t-shirt to living reality, or were there also maybe anything that you wanted to add to embellish that design that you already saw?
So one of the things that I was really keen on is I wanted to capture how shiny the hearts are in the design.
Okay.
If you imagine these things start off this color because it's foam, so it's a matte black. It absorbs light, and then once it's glued together, I use wood glue to smooth it out. But it also makes it shiny. So once I'd done that and I primed it and I'd done my pink sort of like gradients to make them look more bubbly and juicy, I then did several layers of, I think I used fabric glue as well, fabric glue and wood glue to really try and get that shiny effect going on them.
Nice.
And I think it was most successful probably on the leg things.
Yeah.
Because I think that they were real chunky.
It looks so smooth. It genuinely, I would never know what the actual material was unless you told me.
I was basically using all the skills I used to make my chest piece for last year. Because it was my first time working with foam at all.
Okay.
Go hard or go home, I guess.
Yeah. And it is obviously because of how you're carving the body of it. I assume it's not actually as simple to start with.
No.
As humble as you are being, Elsie, that tutorial that you made on that has helped a lot of other cosplayers as well, which is really nice to hear.
So you didn't just start that.
Start
on that. You also did a tutorial that helped a slew of other cosplayers.
Because when I was looking to make it, I tried to find a tutorial or like a blog or anything, and I couldn't find anything. So I actually took a lot of inspiration from not Warhammer figures. I took it from World of Warcraft cosplayers, because a lot of the elf
armor
designs, the armor.
Okay.
So I followed a lot of tutorials that were to do with how to make patterns with duct tape and all sorts to do that, and then how to use a heat gun and stuff. So I really wanted to make a tutorial because I struggled. I could have done with anything to go off of. And it was so lovely at Sonicon at the after party. I had a girl run up to me and be like, I know who you are. You made that tutorial. You made this. And I was like, oh my God. I nearly cried. I was a little bit drunk as well, but That
I
just
don't
made
know
me more.
what you mean. There is never any alcohol at these parties.
I was just in a good mood, you know.
What?
But yeah, that was really lovely. So yeah, that was great. I really liked being able to do that. So I tried to document as much of this process as I could.
Okay.
But again, because we have such little time, I don't think I did everything I could have done with this one this time around.
Okay. I mean,
I'd like to make it again.
Looks magnificent. So
thank you.
So one detail that I sort of noticed instantly, I thought was really cute, was the tail, which I have quite a funny story of. So this is just little furry tail that I made for Shadow. It kind of come off the pants. I think I wiggled my butt too much. But yeah, I just made this out of faux fur, stitched it up, stuffed it, attached to the pants. So as you can see, the stitches are coming apart a little bit because the way that we attached this was I had stitched it to myself, but obviously I can't see around the back of me. So it was quite difficult to get a secure stitch. And thankfully, we had checked in and got our passes and tickets earlier. So we were standing outside of this little waiting areas. People were queuing round to get into SonicCon.
So we're outside with a big glass window,
leaning forward over a bench, whilst Elsie was pretty much sewing this
on
to my butt.
On my knees, sewing. And
then I look right, and there was this very lovely big cosplayer. They'd crocheted the ears, crocheted the cardigan. It was really cute.
Incredible.
But we made eye contact, and we just started laughing at each other.
Yeah.
But it was a great interaction because we followed each other after that. So
yeah,
bringing people together.
Every time I looked right, there was just a different set of people that were like,
what is going on there?
Funny.
Why is Rouge doing that to Shadow? That was the question.
It was almost medical what we were doing, you know?
Procedural, yeah. But in terms of maybe what I added to it was, so the original design, Shadow is shirtless. And as much as I'm sure many people would love to see that, it was cool. So I decided to go with a uniform-esque style. This was just a t-shirt that I altered. Yeah. I put SSFD for Station Square Fire Department on there. Got a little badge, threw it together. Because again, I was looking into uniforms. I was like, we've all seen firefighters, maybe not in real life, but we've seen them. What do they wear? And I was like, usually some form of t-shirt. I was like, cool, that's comfy enough for me. I can make that work.
Yeah, in fact, if you hadn't mentioned a t-shirt, I was going to point it out as something that stood out to me as a really, really good variation to what I did.
Thank you.
Because obviously I just wanted to make Rouge look like she's wearing shiny latex and Shadow's just exposing his chest. But
maybe next year, never say never.
That might have not worked as much with the SonicCon crowd in person. Yeah. But
I don't know.
It was also November. It was also November.
Yeah, exactly.
You really made it work. I'm genuinely impressed.
Thank you.
And I love the fact that any Sonic fan who saw that would, I think, I was like Station Square. Nice. You just know.
Nice. So, go on, sorry.
I was just going to say, one of my favorite struggles from the day was that Drew's hat. Whenever Drew looked down, which Drew's quite tall, actually, compared to me. So whenever Drew looked down at me, this plastic missile would come off. And it would make the loudest noise on those marble floors, whatever they have in the Novotel, every time.
It's like I was trying to gauge how far I could move my head. In hindsight, I probably should have zip tied it to I'll just decrown, the top spike of my wig. I should have probably just looped it around, but I didn't.
We just didn't think about that. We didn't think it would.
I was I can keep my head straight until I try and look anywhere.
That was great. Kept me on my toes. Yeah.
Just dodging the whole day.
Being jump scared mainly.
Fair enough. So obviously you know that my reaction as soon as I saw you, I was so overwhelmed, and at the same time I was really grateful almost that we were surrounded by people and we were busy, because I feel like if I had the moment to actually fully soak it in, I think I would have been quite emotional about it.
No.
And I'm like, oh, I'm sparing myself an embarrassment right now. Slay. But also, I am very curious that how other people at the event reacted. How was it?
It was great.
You can go first, Elsie.
Wonderful, thank you. No, it was great. Everyone was really lovely. I did have people coming up to me and being like, "Oh, Street Fighter," and I was like, "Yes, but not. I didn't make that up. If you turn around over there," I did to everybody that came up to me and said how much they liked the costume, or asked for a photo. I was like, "Of course, if you like the design, if you turn around, Trombone is over there, and you can go buy the T-shirt." The whole day, I was a walking advertisement.
Nice.
We need one of those spinning signs to like that.
Yeah,
way. That's where
when
they
we
go.
were stood in front of it at the stall, in fact, I was pointing at it at people like, you see it?
And it made a genuine difference because that design is now, in retrospect, a little bit older than the others that were there, right? Because we mostly carried only designs that I made this year, with the exception of that Rouge design, because I didn't bring Fireman Shadow with me. I only brought the Rouge. And throughout the day, until you were stood in front of us and pointing at it, it had not sold as much until you did, and then it just went. Yeah. There was none left.
It was crazy.
And also, a very fun fact is that yesterday, because it took me a year and 3 months to post that piece on my socials for the first time, because I've never actually shared it on my Instagram.
Yes, because every time I was looking for a reference for it, I was going off of the T-shirt. That's why I messaged you, being like, "Can you just send me a file? Is that okay? So I can see it."
So when my physical version of the Fireman Shadow shirt was in the wash, I had to crop Jay's body of him wearing it to see the design.
That is so funny.
Like scouring on Instagram, like, where is it? Where is it?
Oh, you wore it.
I do have a couple screenshots of you guys like holding or in the background in a couple photos where I've just zoomed in and I'm like, oh, dude.
I'm so sorry. I really should be posting my work more often. But yesterday, being the first time that I posted the picture, we got the comment about Street Fighter, right?
Yeah.
I can assure you that I never looked up the Street Fighter design. I didn't know that there were similarities. I didn't even know the character as much.
We had to see
I didn't know either, and then someone pointed it out to me, and I was like, "Oh yeah."
Rouge and Poison are quite similar, to be fair. Yeah.
I did at no point was I trying to reference the character, but then as soon as they were like, "Oh, it's Street Fighter, I'm glad you like it," I'm like, "Yeah, I did as a kid. I don't understand what they're referencing." So we looked it up, and I'm like, "Oh shit, this is literally the same."
Oh my gosh, this is so good.
It's so funny. Oh, actually, one of the inspirations for the character was Jill Valentine, because I really love Jill Valentine. It was always my favorite character from the classic Resident Evil games. And I imagined that if Rouge was in law enforcement, she would very much have the Jill Valentine vibe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that is where a lot of the elements came from, actually. And as it turns out, I recreated a Street Fighter character.
But I love that. And I'm just saying, I would absolutely love some artwork, which is Rouge and Shadow as Leon Kennedy and Jill Valentine. I would actually lose my mind. So
I think that would work, actually.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I love it. I love the design so much. I think my most sort of popped off thing I've ever made was on TikTok when I was on 4 hours sleep or less. And I would come home from SonicCon 2024, not even come home. I was in the hotel room and everyone was waiting for me to hurry up and get undressed. We could go get food. And I was like, I'm just gonna make a TikTok. That's okay with you? And I wore this shirt and it went viral. And every comment practically is, "Oh, that's a nice top. Where's that from?" And every time I tag you, like, Shield Bones, go and have a look on the website, guys. Go and enjoy it.
Yeah, it did. And I can assure you that is, again, when the influx of sales happened for that design on my website. There you go.
I'm just real good at marketing.
Thank you. My live model, everyone.
Industry plant. Some would say industry plant, but here we are.
I can see that. Perfect.
It sounds like the general reaction was very positive to both of you.
Yeah.
And you mentioned, how you're like, it's this t-shirt over here. You can get it yourself.
Yeah.
I'm also curious how you felt personally about being in that space and going into space, because obviously you've cosplayed as Rouge and Knuckles and other characters and stuff, which, like you said, you have so many references. Everyone knows those characters, but this is a very, in the grand scheme of things, very niche reference of those characters. How did that feel personally, like going into that space, being like, okay, I'm walking into this version of a character based on a t-shirt design that for many people who are going to this event, the first time they see it will be when they look at Gilbone's table.
Yeah, was there any apprehension?
Yeah.
I think we just wanted to do a good job, you know what I mean? We wanted to be as close to the design as we could, but I think also we took it in like a labor of love that we were, we'd been so, infatuated by these t-shirts designs that we really just want to share it with the Sonic community as, in a similar way that you were by selling the t-shirts. We want to be like, oh, we were really inspired by this piece of artwork. This should be celebrated too.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for me as well, it didn't even occur to me in the lead up, actually. They're like, oh, what if no one knows? What if, people think it's weird or whatever? Because I was just so concerned. Like, I hope they like it. I hope they don't look at me and go, oh, I was just like, I really hope they like the design. And I think it was so good. I think we looked so good as a pair as well.
Yeah, I think it's just a really good concept too. Like Rouge and Shadow having everyday jobs. It's great.
Yeah. It is really, really good.
Yeah.
I was thinking it'd be cute to make Sonic or Tails into a postman as well. I was thinking that would be cute for them because they gotta go fast and all that. And the Royal Mail does not do that, but
Airmail Tails. What?
I since posting Rouge, I got quite a few suggestions in DMs of what professions to give different characters, and there's some obviously that really stood out to me. The one that I'm definitely putting on the list is Knuckles as a construction worker.
Yeah,
I mean that is which was brought forward by Frootbat Cosplay.
I was like, we need that in our
100%. Another one that I really like, and in fact, I'm like, how did I not think about it? Because of one of my secret projects that I haven't spoken about yet, reflects the same thing, and it's Tails as a mechanic.
Oh, yeah. That's a real obvious one as well.
It is so obvious, right? But I think it would be really cute to have him, I don't know, with a little bit of soot or, oil-stained gloves and stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what you do.
Drew and Jordan both, listed some really good good examples, and I'm
That's just love the game. We love Sonic.
I'm just taking notes. I'm taking notes. And Jamie's currently in his Silver obsession era.
Yeah.
So DJ Silver would be epic.
Absolutely, yes.
Listen, we're not married to these characters. We'll do other ones, maybe. It'll be hard for me, but I'll get there.
That has been a conversation we've had. Every time I've been like, do you want to do because I was like, oh, I could do Espio and you could do a really cool gender bent Vector. That'd be and Elsie was like, maybe, but Rouge. But Rouge.
Maybe I've done 4 other versions of Rouge since then, so
yeah.
Okay.
I've got to say, the reaction was so good. I want to say myself as well, these aren't my designs. I didn't draw them, but I have very close connection to them because it's the first design t-shirt I bought off you, and I feel like it was my gateway into everything that's happened since in my life. So to see them literally come to life and walk around that space, and you did them such justice. They were literally felt like these characters walking around, and it just meant so much to me to see them in person. So you guys just did an amazing job, I have to say.
No, thank you.
Thank
you.
I'm so glad you liked it. Thank you.
Genuinely, I don't think I could have felt any more honored unless someone walked in dressed as Cubby. if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because again, it has been a year of Sonic for me, and I'm sure that it's going to stick with me for a few years now.
A decade of Sonic.
I'm stuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
But they were the first thing I did in this community, and that will forever be with me. You know what I mean? They, as designs go, they hold a very special place in my heart. So seeing two people that firstly I already considered, we've known each other for a few years now, Drew.
Yeah.
So I consider you my friends. I consider you very talented cosplayers. And walking in and wearing my characters, more or less, is just mind-boggling experience. Even though you told me, I knew it was almost like, what is happening? This is so cool. There was no level of preparation that could have prepared me how amazing it would be to see the characters in person.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, that's really warming to hear. Yeah, and like vice versa, you know, we really appreciate you as a person. We appreciate your craft. So it was just as much an honor for us as it was, I'm sure, for you as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna go this way now. And just turn red in the corner.
No pressure or anything, but you should hurry up and get the website up so we can buy more t-shirts, please.
Oh no, being called out on the website. The reason why we put it down was mostly because of the whole tariff situation and not being able to ship to the EU and so on. So it just went offline. Jamie has been working hard on figuring out the legalities behind it. And now that it is more or less done, I just want to kind of like edit how it looks a little bit to make it look like it was worth waiting 4 months for it to reopen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I'll give it a little facelift, but it will be open again soon. And also with Royal Mail at the moment, everything is stagnant because of Christmas. So it's not worth opening until the holidays are done. Yeah. Because everything will just be lost. So,
That's fair.
But yeah, it will be back.
I just very selfishly want the Team Dark t-shirt that I didn't get at SonicCon. That's why I'm like, hurry up, put it up.
You could have just asked for it. You literally could have just said, you know, I'm beautiful and look like Linda Evangelista. Can I have it? No, yes.
We've got
Listen, I got the badge, and I thought the badge was already much. I was already like, oh, okay. So it's good for me. I'm happy.
Appreciate it. Okay.
Right.
Should we start talking about performance?
Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
That's all right. Please don't apologize.
It's all good. So yeah, it was so great to see you guys walking around. As in the idea of making a new set of cosplays for an event to then have those cosplays be a specific spin. Most people are like, okay, that's enough. But no, you weren't just walking around in the cosplays. You're doing a whole performance in them as well, which is crazy. For any of our viewers and listeners who aren't already familiar with the Ring Pop, could you tell them a bit about the origins of it? What's it about? And also, how did it get involved in SonicCon?
So basically, we are performers. We've done this for a while, actually, just not in a sort of cosplay or community environment, really. Done it a couple times before personally for masquerades. I have a fun story time about how I single-handedly had the MegaCon Manchester rules changed by accident. I'll bring that one up later on. It's okay, but
yeah, spill that tea. That's what we're here for. Entertainment.
Listen, in my head, I was singing "Take Another Little Piece of My Heart," dressed as Harleen Quinzel, and revealing by taking off my clothes, I'm dressed as Harley Quinn underneath. What that actually looks like is going, take it while you're taking off bits of your clothes, going, take another little piece of my heart now, baby. Tear away skirt, you know? And actually, they don't like it if you do a striptease at a family-friendly event. So they changed the rules for the next year that you had to send in the recording of your performance and it had to be designed for under 13s. Listen, I didn't think about it like that. Sorry, everyone.
I mean, it's valid. It's valid. If the intention was not, you know,
it wasn't meant to be sexy. It was meant to be neat. Listen. what can I say? But yeah, so we've both done it before. Drew's an actor. Drew does plays and other fun stuff like that.
I do. Yeah, I was going to say, so we actually met in our university years. So we've known each other since 2018. And you've also been cosplaying for many years, and I was very sort of eager to get into it. And I think from there we just really bounced off each other well. We aren't afraid to like to talk about like our working relationship. Like we aren't afraid to be like honest and be like critical with each other. We're not afraid to suggest things. I feel like in terms of drive and ambition, we're pretty similar. We've both got lofty goals, maybe a bit too ambitious sometimes. But I think it's also encouraging that we give each other space to grow in our own projects, our solo stuff. And it's just nice to have a working relationship in cosplay that works. I don't find this difficult. I find it quite enjoyable, which is really nice.
But yeah, we last year we who was it? Was it Jordan potentially brought up about
the Jordan we're referring to is our lovely cosplayer, accomplice, let's say, who is Fear of Aries. So Fear of Aries actually made my first shadow wig.
And
but this project, and the Rouge wig, this project was, I am going to do it. If I message you saying, how would you approach that? I will, you can tell me the things. But this was sort of like a testing the waters thing. But yeah, very, very talented cosplayer, very, very talented wig artist as well. And we decided, we want to do some performances, some singing, some dancing through the themes of Sonic. How can we make that relevant? What songs do we want to do? And it was a pretty lengthy, collaborative sort of creative process. We also had jazz cosplays, cosplay tales in that group as well. Also, Gem of Oda Riemann, who was cosplaying Cream. Oda Riemann is a popular J-Idol group in the cosplay UK scene as well. And we put the application in and we sorted out who was doing what. And it was, a lot of fun. And then we wanted to, for the 2025, yes, that's the year.
Yes. That's now, yeah.
We wanted to keep that momentum going. But since it was only us two in attendance, we were like, Shadow and Rouge can easily do a performance together. Let's work it out.
Yeah. Nice. So, yeah, it was really fun. We really loved doing it, that we were like, oh, we gotta do it again. And they were very kind. Jake was very kind to get us in. Because when I messaged saying like, oh, I know that last time we talked about this, you said performance slots were full. Have you had any cancellations? Because I secretly had been speaking to some people that were performing and I knew someone had cancelled. So I was going, I wonder. But he was like, oh yeah, no, we do have a gap actually. And originally he gave us a really big time gap, actually, a bit too big, to be honest. It was almost an hour long and we were like, okay, 2 people, that's quite intense, but we're professionals, we can do it. And then he was like, no, take it back, actually, 20 minutes. And we were like, oh, that's a good amount of time.
We can feel that. Yeah,
we like 20 minutes. So originally we were going to do some fun stuff, like not just singing some Sonic game covers. We were also going to do some fun stuff like pop songs or emo songs in Shadow's sense that we thought were in the character. Like I know Drew is dying to do Evanescence at some point.
Bring Me to Life as Shadow, but I sing both parts. Or Rouge does the male part.
I'll do the part.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to do Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, because I thought that was pretty good. Or maybe I Am a Good Girl from the Burlesque soundtrack scene.
Yeah, we were going to touch on musicals as well. We were going to do the final song from Chicago nowadays.
Completely self-serving, that one. We just really like it, and it's like an in-joke between us, and we were going to have a captive audience, But we ended up cutting back to doing I think we did 2 songs from the Sonic franchise. And then we did a parody to a Has Been Hotel song that I really liked, which Drew really went out on a limb for, because Drew does not know it, did not know the song at all, in fact.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
I know of Has Been, but I never watched or delved until that point.
Fair enough.
And I was like, listen, Drew, I think the crowd will really like it. I think that I'll write some silly parody lyrics, I think that they'll think it's really funny because it's the right room for it. And Drew just absolutely did a big one. And
I was like, I trust you. Go ahead. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And you were right. You're right. Yeah. It did land successfully, which I was very, we were very happy about.
Every joke landed, which shocked me because they were really silly jokes. They were not clever. It was whatever I could cram in there that sounded about right, to make it family friendly. But it was really fun. And then we did because last year we did like a really big K-pop segment. So we thought, oh, this year we'll do a collaborative sort of medley of Cat's Eye numbers, because we kind of already knew the dances, and again, we didn't have a lot of time. And we really loved performing it, and I think it looked great. But I think that's the one thing that I took away from the show, was that the crowd weren't as hyped about it. And I think that's fine. I think it was a learning experience for us.
But this thing, I am grateful for those moments, because, you know, it really does help steer for future plans, you know, what works, what doesn't work as well. And I think without us doing that, we wouldn't have known, you know, maybe
so
for
true.
our duo performances, this didn't work as well. We should fill it with more content that landed better.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I saw your performance, and for those of you watching on YouTube, you can go back to one of our earlier episodes, and there's a bunch of footage of the singing and the dancing, and specifically one of my favorites you've already mentioned, which was the parody of Loser, which I loved so much. I got all the jokes. I really, really enjoyed it. It made me really, really happy. And it's interesting to hear you talk about all the other songs that you were potentially going to do if you had a longer set time, because I guess it makes me wonder how much of the characters that you're performing as influences that set list. Do you think that's something you're going to do going forward in terms of the process of deciding how much does that cosplay influence the set list and your performance?
I think it's integral. Yeah, I think it's sort of our first direction with it. It's like, how are these characters going to perform these songs? What songs would be relevant to these characters? So yeah, I think, as we were saying, anything emo-y or dramatic is perfect for Shadow. Anything a bit cheeky, femme fatale is great for Rouge. And then we just sort of look at all the media pools we're involved in, all of our hobbies, all of our tastes, and try and make them relevant. Some stuff stays, some stuff doesn't, but that's part of the fun.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember you were real bummed about the Evanescence one going, but it was, don't worry.
I think it'd be great.
It's time.
Maybe for another con.
Yeah.
Maybe exclusive content, and I'll recreate the video. I'll be on that window ledge. I won't.
No, don't do it. The best part actually was that our friend Andrew from his set at Ditto Jams, his DJ set, he messaged us and was like, do you want to be a little feature in it and come out as a surprise? And we were like, yeah, it sounds amazing, and we'll reprise our songs we sang from last year. So I sang Fly in the Freedom, and you sang, is it I Am?
This Machine by Julian Kay, which is from Sonic Heroes. But yeah, it was nice to do those songs again.
Yeah.
As from the Sonic sort of universe.
But what we didn't know was that he'd actually messaged a lot of our other sort of like musician friends who were performing, and gotten them to agree to do the same thing. So all of us were standing there being like, yay! Because it was as a performer, you don't get to see other people's performances, you know, because you spend so much of your time preparing for the performance, performing, and then trying to walk around and see people. So you don't really have time to sit down. So it was really nice that we got to sort of have like a little mini party.
Yeah.
With all of our friends, like Nos, and it was really good. Nos and Niles, they were really fun. It was a really good time.
Sounds like you really enjoyed the experience, which is, you know, after all the work and preparation and leading up to it, it's what you need really to actually allow yourself to enjoy the moment rather than just be, you know, in your head and modeling the whole time. If that makes sense, yeah.
I think one of the big things for us as well is when we arrived to perform, because we were the first performance slot of the day. So for about, was it 10:15? Is that when we were, Drew? Something like that?
10:40, I believe.
Yeah. So when we arrived, we realised that everybody in general entry was stuck in the queue outside. And we were like, oh, okay, because a lot of our friends were out there. So when we got up to perform, there was the tech crew and there was a couple of the other performers that were about to perform, and that was it. And we were like, oh, well, that's okay. You know, we'll get video. We'll do it for the fun of it, whatever. But the second that we started performing, I think in fact, Drew's woo.
So in Escape from the City, the doom, woo!
Yeah, second you did that, it was like the floodgates opened.
That woo summons people, I'm telling you. When they hear that woo from Escape from the City, it just draws people in like disciples. Like they just come flocking.
It was great. It was so good. we had a full room suddenly of people to perform to, and it was incredible.
The audience
honestly.
were great too. Like, this was what I was really grateful for you being front row as well, Jay. It was like you interacted with us, and there's nothing nicer when you're being up there to having like an alive audience. There's nothing worse than an audience that just sits there and does nothing. So it was really nice to sort of, people who were clearly passionate about, as passionate Sonic as we are, just enjoying it. That was really, a relief for us.
And one of the funny parts about that is that I personally was so jazzed that so many people walked in and that people were engaging, that I know Escape from the City in and out. I've loved that song since I was a lot younger. That's just like one of the things in the Sonic fandom I had. Yeah. And I just forgot where we were in the song. Just sang the wrong line, and then Drew looked at me and corrected the line, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know. It was so funny. Like, in the recording, there's literally, I have the mic feed recording, and you can literally hear the moment where I realize I'm wrong, and then I hysterically laugh and have to keep singing the song. I can't believe I did that. I still can't believe I did that. I don't know.
It was fine. We're professionals. We did it. Yeah, we did it.
We were just so excited that there were people like engaging, and I was like, I just forgot where I was for a second.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. I was going to say, like, you're right. The audience were really reactive to it. They responded to it really well, and I think the fact that your performance, you could see your motivation and energy for doing the best of these songs and celebrating them. And it's a Sonic event. You can tell they really feed into that and really appreciated that. And again, with the Loser cover, the fact that you were like, it's a fair idea that there are a lot of people in this room who probably, there's an overlap of fandoms, yeah? And the fact that you were able to bring those together, I think the audience really fed into that and responded to that really well. So the fact that your performance in terms of who you're cosplaying as actually has an impact on that, genuinely, clearly has a good reflection, and the audience respond really well. It does make me wonder as well that if your cosplay affects your set list and your performance, does that also work the other way around in terms of like, does the performances you're going to do actually affect the cosplays you're choosing? Because we mentioned at the beginning as well, like you're talking about how, like, you want something practical to wear all day. So I'm guessing there are probably characters you'd love to do, but actually it's completely impractical to do in a performance. How much does that work both ways?
Yeah, definitely. Like, one of the things that I was frustrated that I couldn't quite perfectly recreate was part of the harness in the original Rouge design. She has a bit that goes across the top of her chest where her collarbones are. I did start making it. I actually bought several harnesses that I was just going to rework the leather together for. But as I started doing it, I realized that the stiffness of something there would mean that if I leant forward, that it would buckle strange, and it would get in the way and probably hit me in the chin. And I realized that, like, that's an element that isn't going to translate well for a performance. So I decided that this style of that I'm wearing, which is a lot more similar to maybe what you'd have a gun holster sort of in the side of, sort of, it gives the right vibe for it being a cop. It has the same sort of like S&M-y vibe, which is what we were going for,
100%.
Yeah. So I think that there are some sort of things you have to take when you're going to perform, sacrifices, that sort of.
Mine was, again, just like the wig and the helmet. Like, I didn't wear this for the performance because that would have been a hazard for a lot of people.
I would on.
And again, just and just like making the wig smaller. It did come apart a little bit because the cat's eye choreography was intense, but like, I could repair it easily. It wasn't like I said, my if it was a larger wig, which if you're going to cosplay Sonic, Knuckles, Knuckles too, I guess, Sonic, Shadow, Silver, the Hedgehogs, it comes with part of the character that you may have a massive wig. So it's just something that I considered when I was going into the performance.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I think that's really interesting because I guess I had an idea that you'd have to think about what you could dance in, but talking about like a strap there and stuff, anything that could potentially affect your ability to sing as well. There are so many factors. Yeah, cosplaying is so hard. I don't know how you guys do it.
Yeah, one other thing I did as well is last year. These are my wings from last year. I did want to make new ones, but I ran out of time to make new ones. It was actually to get new supplies in, new foam to make them. So I used the old ones, but because last year when we performed, when we danced, I remember they got in the way a bit because they were a bit unwieldy where the wire holds them. So Drew, the morning before the convention this year, used like skin-coloured body tape and went over the back of them, so they were really held up here to my actual shoulders, and there was a much more limited range of motion on them. It made them way less unpredictable, way easier for dancing. I don't think they got in the way at any point.
No, I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't hit by a wing mid-performance, so yeah, they were. They were a good job.
Wing. Yeah.
Nice.
Same with the wig though for you. Like I remember last year it was so big as well. That was another thing of just, catching it with arms and stuff.
I was scared it was going to fly off. I will talk about wigs flying off later because that did happen. I was scared. I was scared of my wig flying off. But yeah, it was more secure this year. I think we just, again, knowledge from performing as Sonic characters last year informed our decisions that we went into it this year.
Yeah, it's all practice, really. You know, even whether we love it or not, no matter how much we prepare, the actual act of doing the performance is in itself a practice for another time. So
yeah, and we're just sort of so grateful for the opportunity to do it. We're not like a massive group. We're mastering our passions, but in terms of our social medias, we're quite new. So it's just really nice to have had these two performances Sonic themed that we could just sort of put something together.
Have you performed as Ring Pop in other locations other than SonicCon or?
Not yet, but we really want to.
Okay, that's good.
That's
good.
our plan for the next year, isn't it?
Yeah, we'd have a few things planned on the horizon.
Okay.
We actually have depending on what's happening with SonicCon next year, we do have a little concept in mind to elevate what we're doing, a bit more thematic, which we could spill a little bit on.
Still a little.
We're all ears.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any ears.
You have headphones. Yeah, so one of the concepts, I was actually I should have said earlier, how I mentioned that my leg things, I had to keep pulling them up my thighs the whole time, those straps. It wasn't actually me pulling them up, it was our friend Steel Druid, who very graciously just continuously pulled those up my legs and repinned them to my tights the whole day. He's a really, really talented musician, and so he does a lot of acoustic guitar stuff. Okay. So we are potentially looking at maybe doing a more acoustic set for next year.
Oh wow! Okay.
There may be more faux leather, fringe, spurs, and hats involved.
I see what you're putting out. Nice. Yes, that's the thing that people say.
But yeah, that's
English is not my first language. Okay, I hide behind that.
I don't have anything to hide behind, and it goes wrong all the time. So I'm sure you're doing great.
Thank you. Yes, I feel like that would be very nice and somber as well, because it would showcase your voices a lot more to acoustic. Is just
we love singing that genre too, so it would be good.
Yeah, and we really love the idea of writing maybe another couple parodies for it.
Please do.
We already have one.
Really well.
We can't spoil because we have to wait. You have to
Fair
wait.
enough.
We have a song that we jokingly were singing after the con, and we were like, "This is too good. We got to do it."
But as a side note, not to strong arm Drew into saying yes, he has to do it. I really want to do another Has Been song. I really want to do one from season 2. I want to do Don't You Forget. Is that the name of the song?
Okay. We actually haven't. Point of recording, not airing. We haven't watched the second season yet.
Well, I haven't watched it either, but I have listened to the soundtrack. So.
I have listened religiously almost every day, multiple times to Gravity.
Yeah.
I think Gravity is probably the song that has carried the second season into like outside of, if you haven't watched it,
the mainstream.
Where I think season 1, that was Poison.
Yeah.
Poison kind of like made the soundtrack popular outside of people watching it. I'm looking forward to watching the second season and learning the songs.
Yeah. And I would argue, they've got so many amazing singers as part of their cast, voice acting cast, that it's just a given that the soundtrack's going to get better and better as time goes on.
Yes.
There's one duet anyway that I really love, and I think it'd be really funny again for Rouge and Shadow with a bit of tweaking.
Okay.
So at some point, I'm sure I'll force you into it.
I trust your mastermind.
Yeah. I think there is a safety in knowing that the people who are going to go to something like SonicCon are heavily invested in other fandoms as well.
Yeah.
Especially things that are relevant of that certain year. Like if anything happened, let's say now in this current time, just for people to relate who are listening, if you were to do a parody with K-pop Demon Hunters, for example, using K-pop Demon Hunter music and related to your characters, chances are anyone who is in that building is going to know or relate to that and be like, oh, I know this, so let's get involved.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's a very good strategy. I really applaud that.
I think Shadow should sing Golden. I think it would be.
Oh, Shadow's Huntrix rather than Saja Boy. Interesting.
While you do a costume change reveal and turn golden.
Yeah.
Because Super Shadow.
Super Shadow, yeah.
I don't know how the wig would work. Like,
spray paint.
During.
Yeah. Not the wig under a wig.
Wig under a wig. But generally, wig under the wig, the second wig needs to be much smaller, right?
Yeah, you know how you get a shadow wig under a shadow wig.
I'll do a Roxy Andrews where it's just like, install, I need you two in the front row being like,
we'll work it.
Yeah. The fans.
100%. I'll Michelle Visage it.
Yeah.
We've got some really fun stuff planned for next year. We've got a load of stuff planned for next year. A lot of conventions, but a lot of social media stuff that we're really keen on starting doing.
Good.
Yeah.
I've been recording for the past few weeks some different video game covers, actually.
Nice.
Vocal covers, because I love dressing up in costume and then singing things from it. So I thought it'd be fun to maybe do some from other fandoms. I'm a really big Teto fan of the Vocaloid fandom, so I'd really love to do some more Vocaloid covers. Or we were talking about things like some Fallout covers, because we both love that genre of music again. But yeah, that's going to be really fun. So we'll hopefully get some really nice quality recordings as well of us doing the songs we did at SonicCon. So
yeah, we're in the process of doing those. We also were thinking of doing maybe like some singing videos, singing streams, sort of like more stuff from the Sonic fandom. We really want to sink our teeth into streaming a little bit with that. Also playing the Sonic games, because there are some that Elsie haven't played. There's some that I've not played in a very long time. Doing that in cosplay would be fun too. We're actually working in collaboration with Red 3 Art as well. That's the artist that did our logo for Ring Pop.
Okay.
Yes.
And we were thinking of, just art stream, gaming stream, singing stream, blending it all together as part of like the Ring Pop team, I suppose.
Yeah, it would be really fun. I'm very excited.
And because we travel to so many conventions, aside from a potential SonicCon next year, which we all know is going to happen, we just don't know where, when, how, and all that. We haven't gotten to that point yet.
There's been a little bit of hinty hints happening in the server, but I won't say anything in case they are just hints.
Yes. I mean, we know plans, but there is only so much we can actually share, so we'd rather not share to the audience just yet.
Yeah.
What other conventions do you plan on participating in 2026?
Get the list.
I've got the list. That's what I was getting up.
Oh yes, here we go.
Yes.
So we're really keen to go to AnimeCon in Manchester on late February.
Nice. We will see you there.
Yay. We're going to be going to ChibiCon, which I've never been to before. It's a one-day con that happens in Gateshead near where I live. It's run by some people that do SunnyCon. It's just a mini version of the convention, which we'd like to go to. We're also going to MegaCon Birmingham in March, hopefully.
Nice, yes.
I'm going to Secret Con, which is more of a photography sort of sense, but I'm going to Secret Con in June. Then, of course, we'll do SunnyCon, the 3-day event in Newcastle, because we love SunnyCon. It's very fun. And then, of course, we'll go back to MegaCon Manchester late July.
Nice.
And then we'll be coming back for NERG, hopefully. So NERG is a convention, the Northeast Retro Gaming Convention that I went to last year. It was awesome. It was like a very cheap ticket. And then they had dozens and dozens of retro and vintage arcade cabinets that you could just use.
Nice.
There was no charge. And it was so fun. It was so good. And then they announced that it was the last one. But there has been hints. There's been little Easter eggs posted in the little numbers in their posts. So I'm pretty certain that we're going to see NERG again this year. So NERG. We want to go. Well, I'm interested in going to KitterCon, which would be nice. But it's a bigger convention. So we'll see. Of course, we love Rakacon. So we'll be there. Yes. Fila Bakugan. And then we were looking at potentially Northeast Comic Con in Newcastle, but that one's a potentially because that's a very busy chunk of month. So we'll see about that one. And then, of course, Sonicon, wherever it is. And then I think we'll end the year with MegaCon Birmingham in December.
Pat do.
Oh, okay. Nice. We like that. We're at a lot of those, so it will be nice to see you. We're also. I was approached by one of the organizers for KitterCon, and I was asked if I would consider going up for it because it is a hotel con.
Yeah.
And I don't really do a lot of those unless I know the organizers, which doesn't particularly mean anything. It's just I struggle with booking events. And if it's a smaller con, generally it's very more for their community. It's not like vastly advertised. So I struggle with knowing where and when to book. But it was very nice of the person to come over and say, I understand that it wouldn't look exactly like this MCM setup if you were to come to our smaller convention, but we would like you to apply if you're up for it. So I'm going to keep my eye out, and maybe we will see you at KitterCon.
Yeah, I had similar things with photographers mentioning about KitterCon and being like, "Oh, I think you'd really like it." You know a lot of people that go, but it's just one of those again, which is like, oh, it's in a little bit of an awkward place. So we don't drive. We are passenger princesses, both of us.
Yeah, same. Same as us. So yes.
We'll see. We'll see on that one, because if we can, we'd love to. But it's the same with, I'd love to go to Camp Cosplay. I've been approached by a few people saying they've got spare tickets for it, but it's I'd have to book it now, and it's January and it's Christmas, so I'm like, I don't have the money.
There's too much. Yeah, there's too much during this time of year. I can tell you that from my perspective, there's so many events that happen January, February, March, April that want money right now, but also even events like MCM, they start booking us now, and a lot of them are like, oh, if you're booking a spot within like a couple of weeks, we need a deposit. So it's literally the worst time of year, but gotta roll with those punches,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness, it sounds like Ring Pop has a lot to look forward to next year, lots of exciting things to attend and be part of and things like that. How often do you guys work as a duo, or how often do you guys work separately? Because I imagine you have your own projects, maybe, or collaborations with others that you like to get involved in. What does that look like?
Yeah, so Ring Pop is definitely an evolving identity. We see ourselves similar to other projects where the cast can change over time. So obviously me and Drew are regular features, but time and commitments are what they are. So not everybody who participates with Ring Pop can always be there with Ring Pop.
Yeah.
So I'm working on a couple solo projects as well outside of this, and I know Drew is too. So I think for next year, it's likely to be mostly me and Drew, but there's definitely going to be almost every single time we perform. In fact, I think we'll definitely have special guests, and we'll definitely have other people hopping in because we like our friends and any excuse and all that.
Nice.
You'll probably see some familiar faces from SonicCon 2024 to begin with.
Okay. Nice. Good. I'm excited for that.
Yes, it sounds like there's a lot going on next year for you as a duo and separately, which is really, really awesome. And
we're rooting for you.
We're
all rooting for you.
A year of many cosplay builds and cosplay adventures. I, again, can't even comprehend how you guys do it because I'm not a cosplayer. I don't even know where to begin. I've learned so much in this one episode about what you guys do, and it's really, really impressive. Because obviously we're talking so much about these specific ones that you brought with us today, for anyone maybe like myself who has no idea, or people who are also into cosplay who are watching this, is there any particular advice, tips, little tidbits of information you might want to share with people who might be interested in the idea of recreating a sort of spin-off of a well-known character?
Yeah, first of all, I would say just go for it. If that idea sounds fun to you and nobody else has your brain, nobody else is probably going to execute it quite the way that you would. You're going to bring something special to that, which I think is why of an event like SonicCon is so fun because, there's a limited pool of characters that people are going to be cosplaying, but everybody's going to do their own spin on it. Everybody's going to bring their own, skills and techniques to it. And I think that's a really nice thing to say in the day that, you see people can show their work, people can share things, people can take inspiration. It's just really a nice creative space for it to be on.
Yeah.
I think with fan works and alternate takes on characters, it gives you a lot of creative freedom too. You can think about, like I said, with my t-shirt, how could I make that relevant to the design? You could think about maybe changing texture, maybe using different fabrics for things. You could add little personal details to it. And then I think that just informs, again, what you're bringing to it that deviates from the original character as well.
Exactly. I would say as well, like, it is a collaborative process. Nobody wakes up and knows how to do everything, Ask questions, message people. I so often message people, again, fear of Aries, a lot of big advice. Or in our case, sometimes some commissions, depending.
Yeah.
Or my friend Cena Cosplay as well. I message them quite a lot for advice on fabric choices because that's the big thing I always struggle with. Is I get overwhelmed and I need someone else to say yay or nay on something or colors. And again, people have things spare as well. Ask around. It's no one learns everything straight away.
Yeah, and I think it's so good nowadays that we have the resources we do on cosplay. There's so many good YouTube channels that can, deep dive videos, tutorials. It is daunting because I understand there's a lot that people might want to do in terms of costuming, but we all start somewhere.
Yeah.
I guarantee you there's not going to be any judgment on you being a beginner. We've all been there. We're all still learning every day. So yeah.
I absolutely actually broke a sewing machine with my first cosplay because I didn't really know what I was doing, and I made a ball gown and shoved a lot of fabric into a needle, and I completely just mashed the mechanisms on the inside. So, we all make mistakes. We all figure it out. You will probably bleed. You will probably break things. Yeah, with one of my first costumes that I made, the first costume I made, I didn't understand the importance of capping steel boning. I didn't understand why you would do that. And then I wore a ball gown where everyone kept standing on the back of it, and that would drag the boning inwards.
Ooh.
And I ended up with, I still have them to this day, little dots of scars just in the places where boning goes around my body, just gently. So I learn things the hard way sometimes.
Damn. Oh, commitment. And I was complaining that my baby Saja wig was irritating.
Yeah, no, wigs do that too.
Wigs are a sensory nightmare. We just commit for the look, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's just this pressure here, this constant, right? Like where you have the elastic to pull. Oh, and I suffer from it, even though I'm often wearing a hat, right? Or a beanie. I go from like, nothing's bothering me, nothing's bothering me, nothing's bothering me. This needs to be removed because I'm having a literal meltdown and something touches me is offending my existence right now and it just needs to go, right? So often I would be like at a con wearing my hat or my beanie and all of a sudden this just goes, oh, whoop, fly off. Like I literally just need it to be gone. But when you're with cosplay...
You can't do that. That's not an option.
It is
but I will say, I guarantee you the first thing cosplayers do when we get to the restaurant, when we get to the hotel, the wig comes off. The wig comes off.
Have some great photos of being in Malatang at post convention where I've just taken this off and I look like a drag queen. I look bald with a lot of makeup and lashes, and I'm just like, I can't do it anymore. Or after SonicCon, this one, we were talking about like, oh, should we stay for the karaoke? I'd like to, but I could feel the weight of my lashes that I'd been on all day, and the wig and the hat. It was this bit here that's cutting off my vision slightly. Just got to a point where I was like, I need to go and have a shower. Actually, I need to take all of this off. I'll reapply it all for the after party, but I need it all gone immediately.
Oh, I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
And I don't even do cosplay. I mean, I baby cosplay. It's funny because I have this like, it's almost like when you don't do something for a long time, you forget the bad things, right? And I remember like when I used to do drag for Brighton Pride, I would be like in heels for like 8 hours in a Pride march, and it would not be an issue. The wig wouldn't be an issue. Nothing bothered me. And now even the thought of it is like, sometimes having a watch on my wrist bothers me. You know what I mean? Like,
I think that's the endorphins though. It's like you love what you're doing so much. Like if you're in drag or you're in cosplay, you love it so much that things only start to get, irritating or whatever when the high comes down a little bit.
This is true.
Constantly with cosplays, I think we asked ourselves like, why am I putting myself through this? Why am I spending all this money? It's because we love what we do.
The high that I get, like after SonicCon, I was on that high for at least 2 days afterwards. I was
really
glowing. But I know there's definitely been times where like Drew wears contacts for cosplay. I've never managed to quite force myself to that point, but I will. I promise that someday. But there's been times where Drew has just sort of looked at me after several hours, and I can just see the like burning agony. But Drew's like, "I'm not taking him out. I'll keep him in until we're done. I'll take him out later." And I'm like, "Okay."
It's because we usually get photos later in the day, and I'm like, "This needs to be a good continuancy," so I can't take them out. But I will say, general PSA, take your contacts out. Don't leave them in too long. It's not good for your eyes.
That's very sensible advice. That is very
fair
sensible
enough.
advice.
Fair enough.
But,
Shadow says.
Keep your contacts in more than the recommended amount. But that, like you said, that's the reason why you do it, is that the endorphins and the buzz that you get from doing it. And you mentioned like SonicCon, and I can totally see that. Like, imagine, and you cosplayers are probably like feeding off each other because you're just so you admire what other people are doing, and they're admiring what you're doing, and that energy just sort of builds and builds and builds. And even when you mentioned like the advice for people who are considering it and stuff, like this isn't something you do alone. No. This is a community. This is a group of people who are there for resources, there for building you up, for hyping you up, for helping you when things don't go wrong. Might go wrong on the day, and will help fix bits and parts for you. Like, are there any particular parts of that community? I mean, I guess just general fandom communities, because obviously we're looking at 2 Sonic cosplays today, and that's a whole fandom who lapped up what you brought to SonicCon. What do you really love about those different communities?
Oh, I think everyone, particularly in the Sonic fandom, everyone is just very lovely. And I especially loved all the musicians and the performers. We had such a good time
really talented
together.
People.
Yeah. And it was so supportive too. I mean, I think the entire convention, to be honest, we heard about maybe like one or two negative incidents that might have happened, but that was a huge convention for that to be it. That's crazy. It was so good. Like, there was like a small, I say a small person. They were like a late teenager, but in my head that's a child. So there was somebody who had a prop break as I walked past them, and I was like, oh, that's sad. And then I thought about it, and I was like, oh, I have glue. Let's go and fix that for you. And they were so happy for the rest. And I saw them for the rest of the day. They were glowing, having a great time. And they were like, only at a Sonic convention would this be what happens, Someone loses something, someone gives them it. Someone has safety pins if your thing breaks, It's such a good community. And everyone's so involved.
I think just a general rule of thumb with cosplay and the fandoms within it, it's like we're all, at the end of the day, we're all here to dress up as characters. The core tenet of that should be that it's fun.
Yeah.
It should stay fun. It should always be fun. I don't think there ever should be a time where people within these communities feel like it's not fun. Yeah. So that's the sort of road I try to walk down every time when it comes to fandoms or cosplay or the two intermixing.
That's very valid. That's very valid. I don't know. You're touching on something that is something I try to repeat a lot on the podcast. We are in this community in general, whether it's cosplay, whether it's art and so on, because we are driven by something we love, right? And it's meant to bring us joy, and it is not meant to be hyper serious. Right? Like, as in, like, the priority should be we are having fun, not competition, not like tearing other people down, not getting in other people's way, not it's like for me,
jealousy
for example,
is a bad
I'm
look,
just drawing pretty pictures. I shouldn't be taking it too seriously. I shouldn't take myself too seriously. I'm blessed to be doing a job and a career that stems out of something I love and I love doing. I should treat it that way, and while being passionate about it, still focus on the fun aspect rather than
And this is the thing, it's like you can take it seriously, of course you can, but I think that severity comes from personal satisfaction more than anything. Competition is part of cosplay. I'm sure there's other facets of that as well, but there's always a healthy way to do that. There's always a way to be encouraging. There's always a way to be celebratory of people, because we've all got the same door here. We've all got the same door to walk through. I think it's easier and nicer to do that together rather than separate.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
well
I feel like the Sonic community is lovely. Sonic community. That was genuine, I promise.
Thank you, Maya Angelou. Anyway,
I love it.
Sorry. Anyway, right. Sonic community is especially one where it doesn't really seem to matter if someone's got like a massive follower count or like a baby follower count. It doesn't seem to matter. Everyone's excited to see everyone. It's great. And I think everyone should keep that in mind always, that like at the end of the day, it's a little blue hedgehog man, and maybe it's okay to just enjoy it and not get that stressed about it.
Just have fun.
Exactly that. Exactly that.
And the idea, and I agree with this so much, and something I'm very passionate about, is community, and is basically family in many ways. Like, it's people supporting each other, people loving each other, and people wanting the best for each other. And I don't think sometimes it's a concept we lose sight of, but in all these different communities, they're all just different extended families. In the same way, like, we have our podcast family that's been growing in this year, and now, as guesting, you are now part of that family. Welcome to the pod family.
You're stuck with us. You're welcome.
You're very much loved and part of this family now. And I've got to say, like, it's been so nice to talk to you both today about understanding. I've learned so much, and just understanding what goes behind this and the passion. That's one thing I've definitely taken away from this conversation today. It's just how passionate you both are about not just making the best cosplays and things, but just how much you want to contribute to that family that we talk about. So again, just thank you both so much for taking the time to answer our many, many questions.
Nice. Yes.
Thank you. But yeah, it's been nice to touch on what we saw, touch on the lighter things. But yeah, I do feel like, the deep sides of cosplay, why we do it. I think it's what keeps us all going. So I think it's nice to remind ourselves, getting to talk about it with you two, that this is why we do it. This is sort of what's driving us.
Yeah, exactly that.
Awesome. Again, thank you both so much. For people out there who have listened and say, I need to find more about these two and Ring Pop and everything, where can they find you online? Where should they go as soon as they're done listening to this episode?
So on every social media platform, you can find us on ringpop_official. Nice. They will have our joint photography posts, we'll have performance posts, we'll hopefully have a lot more content coming in the upcoming year. We've got some really silly stuff lined up. So look forward to that.
On our personal accounts, of course, are Frootbat Cosplay on Instagram and Stroberry Cosplay or Stroberry Cosplay, depending on how you read it. We collaborate a lot with each other anyway, so I'm sure that you'd see our stuff. But we tend to post a lot of our behind the scenes, making things, photos and stuff like that on our stories on Instagram. I do some stuff on TikTok as well, as does Rouge. So if you fancy finding us on there, go for it. Strawberry Cosplay and Frootbat Cosplay again. Fruit spelt with 2 O's, by the way.
Fruit, like Fruit Loops or the album from Marina. I wonder which one I took inspiration from.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But yeah, come and say hi. We're very friendly as well. If you ever see us at a convention, or again, if
I can attest to this.
Yes.
Yeah, we're aggressively friendly, some would say.
Yeah. I feel like when I'm not talking to people, I've kind of got a stern face, but like that is not me. I just look this way. I'm just painted this way.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for everything, from the cosplay to choosing my designs to making them absolutely breathtaking, giving me such a wonderful experience on top of how amazing SonicCon already was, and for joining us today, talking to us and being part of our little podcast family now. So thank you.
Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome. And thank you so much for your kind words and the opportunity.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. And you are both welcome back to join the pod at any time. We would love to see you again. Big anniversary episode coming soon. We would love to see you again in the future.
Yes,
if you're available.
Definitely.
For those of you watching, again, thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to find out about our Patreon, how you can become the Patreon family, maybe even a member, and where to find us on our socials, just listen to the very end. But until our next episode, that is it from all four of us. So
yes,
ta-ta and goodbye.
Take care, love you, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you to our Patreon dedicated members, Kit and Wolfburn. To join our Patreon family, visit patreon.com/theconcreatives. To find out more about the podcast and what we are up to, visit our socials at The Con Creatives or our website, theconcreatives.com.